Hello guys, today we're going to talk about, the episode Say Cheese and Die again. Oh god. Um, man, a real rough patch with some of these episodes, jeez. This episode aired on February 28th, 1998. It has a 6.7 out of 10 over on IMDb with about 100-ish user votes. It stars, Patrick Thomas, who was in some Are You Afraid of the Dark episodes, and, Louis Del Grande, who was in this show called Seeing Things, which, from what I've done a very brief research on that show, it looks pretty good. Not a lot of people know about it. It's a Canadian show, but it ran for a long time, and I don't know. It might be something worth checking out, in case you see it. I don't know where you'll find it. I don't know a whole lot about it. There wasn't a lot to say on it for IMDb, so keep that in mind. But the few people who did review it and see it said it was good. So there's a side note there. That's probably the most positive thing I'm going to say about this episode. It was directed by Ron Oliver of Are You Afraid of the Dark show. So yeah, in terms of adapting from the book, it covers the steps. I remember the Say Cheese and Die Again pretty well. And it adapts it really fine. The problem with the episode is that when I watched the episode, I kept seeing plot holes. Now, here's the thing that you should know about me. When I watch a movie or TV show, I don't watch it to find plot holes at all. In fact, the last thing I look for when I watch them is plot holes. I try to get immersed in it. I don't really give a fuck about finding out if it makes sense or whatever. I don't really give a shit about that aspect of storytelling. I really care more about being immersed in it. But if a show is like that where I keep seeing plot holes, then you know it's bad. Because if it's bad enough where even I notice it and I'm not even looking for it, then it's bad. And I don't know if it's the fault of the source material, which, I don't know. I just kind of felt like in the source material, it felt more... It didn't feel as plot holy as it does brought to the show. But, oh, and they recasted everyone. It's actually the first time, like, in a two-parter where, well, the Dummy series is different because Slappy moves from one family to another. But this is the same characters. It's the same story line. Now, granted, they had a time jump in the Haunted Mass show, but they didn't recast everyone. They kept most of the same actors for the most part. And the books were released at separate times too. The same can be said for the Say Cheese and Die books, actually. Which is ironic, because I remember the first one was number 4 in the series, and this one was number 44, which is, I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but, so on the story itself, now, in the book, I remember being reasonably well scary, but in the show, I just felt like it felt more campy, and it really shouldn't have been campy. Now, credit to, Louis, who plays the teacher. I found it enjoyable, really. I don't know why, but I found him on screen with the characters and the students. I found it pleasing for some reason. He just has the way he acted in this episode kind of made it felt like I was watching something credible. I don't know why. I never seen him in anything else as far as I know. But I enjoyed the way he portrayed his character. Now, the actors themselves, they're not awful. They do fine. Really, it's not anything like cringeworthy, except maybe a couple scenes, but they're young kid actors. I mean, it's kind of hard to measure up to Ryan fucking Gosling. It really is. And there's a time jump in episode 2, because this was about 2 years after, or a year and a half at least after the first one, or 2 years. I mean, a lot has happened since that episode, so I will say this, I do like the opening, I do like, the person in the beginning. I wished he was in the whole episode, though. It just kind of feels like a ripoff, really. And this whole situation gets solved kind of conveniently. I mean, they had to think about it, but there wasn't much direness to it. Now, in terms of effects, there's like one I think, in my opinion, I'm just going to say there's one famous, like, CGI shot that I just found very terribly hilarious. But overall, they do use practical effects for what's going on with the two characters. And I give them credit for that, but I wish they would have stuck with that. And I felt like the episode was trying to be more funny than scary. While the first one was kind of terrifying for quite a bit, this one just, or at least intense at least, this one doesn't really feel that way. The only time where I felt it was kind of scary is when, the end, which credit to the actor. Now, at the end, the teacher, something happens with the teacher, and it's something that is not really like, it's not anything that's going to go beyond TVG, but if you put yourself in his shoes, it's reasonably bad. And at first, you kind of think, well, he has it coming, but if you put yourself in his shoes, I mean, you wouldn't really blame him. You almost feel sorry for him because technically he didn't really do anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with his stance on the whole thing. But yeah, overall, is it a skip? I don't know. I think there's enough good in it from, like, more of an acting standpoint, specifically with the teacher character. And there's a couple scenes, and there's a couple aspects that I find well. And there is kind of quite a few so bad it's good moments in it. So I'll give it credit for that. So overall, I say barely check it out. But you can skip it because in some ways it is kind of insulting when comparing it to the first one because the first one was done very well and this one just doesn't have that vibe at all. But yeah, if you've been watching Goosebumps for So Bad It's Good, this is definitely an episode for it. But if you're watching for genuine good episodes, this isn't the episode. But overall, I say if you're curious, you're not. I think it's worth a curious look, but set your expectations kind of low. If you do that, there might be one or two moments that you may kind of enjoy, no matter in what way, shape, or form. But overall, it's alright. The score is kind of mediocre. There's some memorable moments, and there's some not so memorable moments. Cinematography is pretty fucking basic. The effects are kind of, besides that one CGI shot, they're fine. The acting is okay. The teacher is the spotlight of the episode. But seriously, I don't know. Just from this one episode, I can kind of I can see myself being entertained by this guy, the teacher character. So I would say look up and find anything else he's been in, and maybe check that stuff out. Especially Seeing Things, that looks good, and that's really all the positive left I have to say about this episode. I don't really hate this episode. It's just kind of, at this point, I'm just kind of realizing how far down the show has gotten. But there's still a couple more good ones ahead, but there's going to be quite a few episodes still. But, yeah, like I said, overall, check it out, but set your expectations low. And if you want to skip it, go right ahead. But, yeah, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the videos, and have a good day.